Welcome to IP satsang and sadhana. Maybe make sure your mic is off. Okay, make sure your mic is off, please. So maybe these are two new words to you, satsang and sadhana, and these are beautiful words that have emerged from the yogic sciences. And satsang is defined as being in the company of truth, and that's what happens in these trainings. Is we are in the company of one another's truth. We are in the company of our own truth. We are in the company of the emergent collective truth. And sadhana is the word for practice, which is what we do in IP, as we really, as much as possible, make a verb out of the revelation. So in the launch, I guess that was 2 weeks ago, in our launch for this year-long training, I was talking to some degree about G-force, right? Which is the generative force. It's the generative friction. It's the generosity. It's what allows you to deliver what it is that you are intrinsically endowed with, being able to organize because you are who you are. So there's G-force, but the close companion of G-force is R-force. And so I want to take a big purposeful lean into R-force for this session right here now. And so R-force is that small tendril of self and soul that is always quietly regenerating itself, that's always restoring itself. Even if you are busy with the instrumental part of your personality, the R-force has a space built within your beingness so as to unfold. So just take these first couple of minutes to listen and to settle into our shared moment together in this way before we actually do the practices. And take this opportunity to get a glimpse of what you already are. To get a glimpse of what is already here, the part of you that doesn't need anything else added in order to make it worthy or whole or significant, like a tree in the forest. The part of you that doesn't need anything to be created or accomplished. A few moments out of our day-to-day for when becoming becomes unbecoming, where we can kind of open up and release and restore and regenerate and feel the power of the R-force. A few moments in your day for conscious space. Conscious space. Take a breath in around that. Allowing conscious space between your thoughts, in the whole flow of the day. Conscious space, maybe that is experienced in your closet, in your living environment. Maybe it's experienced in your relationship to food as, intermittent fasting. It's space between the inhale and the exhale. We've been hearing for decades about the space age, right? But as practitioners, we can engage this idea of space age as being an age, a time, a cycle of emergence in our own personal development as human beings awakening in the world. A space age is when we're building in space, to not feel so claustrophobic, to not feel so congested, right? Reintroducing space, including the R-force in this time of information overload, in this time of, pathogenic pollutants, and the fact that we are all kind of on a speed of being in the fast lane a lot of the time. A lot of us, all of us at some point or another, we experience the charge of restlessness that comes from the speed of being in the fast lane. We're all sort of perpetually high on that to some degree, right? So even if it feels like you are just sort of micro-dosing, if you will, on spacious awareness. Let these few moments together be about that. Giving yourself some shapelessness. So step away from the structures in the way that you're sitting here. Step away from all the templates and the grids. A few moments for shapelessness, as that's, it's your fundamental nature after all, right? Shapelessness. And tune in now to the stateless state. And allow for it to immediately and fully flow freely throughout you. The stateless state, just reflecting in this way. All of the great inventors that we have known, of course the list is massive, but Einstein, Tesla, Curie, Feynman, Linton, right? And on and on and on. All of these great inventors have blossomed their genius through a spaciousness of mind. And each of us, inventors or not, are blossoming some expression of genius in our individual lives. So even more so, turn down the dimmer switch of the mind, stepping away from the instrumental self that is always so busy with the worldly tasks. A few shining moments for conscious restfulness. A few shining moments. So I've put together a few practices. If your eyes are still closed, you can open them. I've put together a few practices that might be considered a little bit of a self-mastery toolkit. These are really efficient, like jet plane practices. Of course, the world is full of many different methodologies, many countless inroads that can get us there, right? But some of them work faster than others. And so in my sort of somatic energetic research project, I have found that this subset of practices is really efficient for getting us into spacious awareness in both subtle and profound ways. So we're going to start with a 1,000-pound exercise. So you're going to sit up nice and straight in the chair that you're seated in. And you're going to make fists with the thumbs wrapped around the outside. And on the inhale, you're going to take the arms up and out in a big, strong, undeniable V. Hang the head back and pull the breath in through the nose. And then as if you have 1,000 pounds in each of your hands, you're going to tremble. And you hear my voice trembling. You're going to pull your hands in towards your sternum. Trembling, trembling, trembling. So we're using this tension that's undeniable. We're using tension to release all of the inner tension. It's profound how that works for us. Using tension to release inner tension. So inhale, and then I want you to exhale out of the O shape in the mouth. And then at the completion of the exhale, don't be in a rush to grab the next inhale. Rather, turn your attention towards feeling the upsurge of vitality that's there to be felt. So inhale, let's do it a bunch of times together. Okay, I want you to continue doing this. As you power the breath out, as you fire the breath out through the exhalation, pull the abdominal wall. As the breath moves out, the abs are moving in, all right? When we have so many intentions, as always, stay in the dynamism even when I'm talking to you. Keep doing the practice. Keep up with it. when we have so many intentions, which, being in a high productivity community like ours, we all do, right? But sometimes when there's so many intentions, those intentions create inner tension, right? So the practice is creating tension to release the inner tension, which is creating the conditions for appropriate ambition. Creating conditions for appropriate ambition. As you're powering the breath out on the exhalation, feel its point of origin in the back bottom vicinity of your kidneys. The minute that we are in excessive ambition versus appropriate ambition, the minute we are in excessive ambition, we're out there. Poof, we're out of the present moment. So as you pull the energy in, which is also so good behaviorally for this time that we're in here in the Northern Hemisphere, since we've just moved into autumn, almost everybody on the call at the beginning when we were doing our weather report check-in, everybody expressed some iteration of Vata energy, which is that windy energy. So you are concentrating and consolidating. It's the amalgamation of all the good chi that you're packing. You're packing the chi into the core of your physical body. Do this one more time, friends. And then feel the upsurge of vitality. So all of these forms, all of these micro practices that are in this little toolkit can be done as part of the toolkit, but they can also be done in isolation. So if you have a lot of energy to move, if you've got a lot of stuck tension, you could do this for 7 minutes. You could do this for 20 minutes. You could do it for 30. You could even do it for 60 minutes. And you would be utterly unrecognizable after 60 minutes of moving 1,000 pounds on the left and the right side of your body. It's very powerful. So I want you to, if you happen to be seated on a block or on the floor like I'm demonstrating, and if you are capable of taking hold of your ankles, then by all means that would be a good option. If you're seated in a chair and you can put your hands on top of your thighs, that also works. So this is spinal flex. You want to keep your spine, the whole community of the spine, really upright, and you want to build in space in between all of the bones in the axis of the spine. So we're building in space in the spine, okay? And we're sitting up nice and straight, not occupied, not preoccupied, and we're gonna inhale, push the spine forward, and exhale, push it back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And while you're doing this, if you can, explore looking at the tip of the nose, which is going to create that generative force, which then is also stimulating the R force, the regenerative, restorative, restful remembrance that happens when you come home to the you within you. Come home into the you within you through your breath, through the movement, moving in your fundamental nature, practicing and knowing that through practice all things come, engaging at a level that is unequivocal. So there is a track that you're moving back and forth and in and out of, but let it be soft. Let it be characterized by a quality of flow. Each cycle of inhale and exhale is a refinement process. The self-mastery process is a refinement process. It's saying yes again and again and again to editing ourselves so that we can keep face in uncertainty, so that we can keep face in celebration, each rocking back and forth, feel how you're becoming more acquainted with your neutrality. More acquainted with your neutrality. You know, as practitioners, we are shaping the direction that we are headed in. While simultaneously allowing for shapelessness. A couple more rocks back and forth. So shaping and holding space for shapelessness. Welcome to the paradox. But, as our friend Willow says, both worlds are here. And it's true. Good, so go ahead and unwind it. So, you know, the essence, the underpinnings of this is about taking our competitive mind and the force that is in the competitive mind and applying it to our self-growth, at least for these few moments, right? At least for these few moments. So shoulder shrugs, this is another really accessible all people practice that can be done just about anywhere. It can be done on an airplane, it can be done in a confined place, and it can be done underneath the boundless sky of Montana. You know, no matter where you might be, these will always work for you. So again, if you can grab your ankles, by all means do so. If you can't, have the hands on top of the knees. I'm sorry, not on top of the knees, on top of the thighs, palms to the top of the thighs. So shoulder shrugs, inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up. Looking at the tip of the nose. Or if you want to accelerate the time signature that you're working with, that's an option too. You decide how slow or swiftly you're moving based on how you're feeling and what you're seeking to attain through this particular technique. Let it be a biological event, undeniably. Let any existential urgency that you might be feeling, let any kind of emotional emergency that you might be feeling, transform into the power of emergence. How? Because you're moving your life energy, you're moving your chi, and you're lifting your life energy, and you're increasing the amount of life energy that you have in your body. Anytime that we want to match chaos with radiance, we have to be sure that we have a sufficiency and a reserve of life force. It's the reserve that allows the R force to always be getting nurtured and nourished at a deep, deep, undeniable, unequivocal level. A couple more shoulder shrugs. The power of emergence. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. You're going to weave up your fingers like so. And so I've wrapped my middle fingers, my ring fingers, and my pinky fingers, and I've sealed my index fingers pointing north like a steeple. The women in our group today are going to wrap the left thumb on top, and the men are going to wrap the right thumb on top. So we've established this shape, and then we're going to extend the arms up, and if you can, in your shoulder available, the space in your shoulders, pull your arms back so that they're behind your ears, and then squeeze the upper arms in towards the sides of the head while pulling your shoulder blades down, okay? A lot of moving parts that create the inner alignments that cultivate the conditions for life force energy to arise. So the inhale, it will be the oscillation to the left, and the exhale will be an oscillation to the right. Breathing in and out of the nostrils only. Now, in my own body, the first couple of oscillations are the most sort of mechanistic feeling and the most rigid, But the more you stay in it, the softer your body will get. It's like it's thawing out. The softer the body will get, and the more space it will give back to you. It's through the repetition that we can receive the space. Okay, so let's do this for a couple of breaths. Keep your tongue soft in the space of the mouth, space between thoughts, space between breaths. And as the upward reaching gesture of your arms is stabilized, like so, you're creating greater and greater space around the organs, inside of the organs, greater space inside of the terrain of your human landscape, greater space, build in space. Let it challenge you, and challenge the challenge. Let it lift your brilliant optimism. Take 3 more oscillations. You're doing great. Good, and then bring this practice to a close. So one of my first teachers on the path used to say, you know, you have 2 choices. You can either get committed or you can get committed. And I love that because it's so true, right? And like we can fake it, we can pretend, but that's a metaphor for, you know, where potentially numerous leaks are showing up in the whole flow of our life, right? The more we can concentrate and consolidate and enjoy the power and the privilege of being fully present in the practice, then that gets conveyed in every aspect of our lives. So this next one is going to move a tremendous amount of energy. If you thought the 1,000-pound exercise moved a lot of energy, you might find that this moves twice as much. This is called fists of anger. So you're gonna pull the first segment of your pinky finger down with the pad of the thumb. And then I'd like for you to wrap your ring, middle, and index fingers around the thumb, okay? And then you're gonna toss the energy back while looking at the tip of the nose. And then you're gonna do breath of fire. So you're tossing any of the densities, the distortions, the dysmorphia, you name it, whatever, that is causing you to feel angry or anything of that level of electricity. You're ridding it. You're breaking through isolation. Okay, so let's do this for a few times together. Call up your unrestrainable nature as you do this. Eyes are set at the tip of the nose. The unrestrainable nature, your unrestrainable nature. Staying in it. Good. And keep moving through the layers. Part of holding space for self-mastery on the path is making that commitment that we're going to run our day, right? Either we run our day or the day runs us in some way, shape, or form, right? Getting clear. your mind or your body says, no, thank you, I'm done, just stay in it for a couple more cycles. You can do this. Peel back the layers of the onion, right? Yeah. Get into the heart, get into the core of it. Breath in. Exhale, power it out of the mouth. So the essence of this last form is warrior essence. And there's been much conversation and consternation around this word in our community of late. And I would just love to quickly take the opportunity to say that, the warrior or the warrioress is one who never gives up, even when things are getting difficult, even when adversity or ambiguity or unthinkable challenge presents itself time and time and time again. The warrior is the one who never gives up, who continues to take the next step, who is actively engaged in the endeavor of generating and organizing and delivering what it is that they know to be their best possible truth in that moment. With knowledge, from will and through action, with courage and with discipline and with compassion, all of the above. This is the energy of the warrior, and you experience that energy, that flavor, if you will. Practice can take on 10,000 different flavors depending on how we want to steer our chi, our life force, right? So take a breath and feel how much energy is concentrated and consolidated, the amalgamation of energy. All right, so staying in this same tract of moving an immense amount of energy, this is called conquering imagined disabilities. You're going to create a flat plate with all of the fingers, the thumbs, and the surface of the palm on both sides, on both hands, on both sides. And you're going to push the energy with one hand forward, right out in front and center of your body. And then you're going to push the other hand forward. Okay, so as one arm is going forward, the other elbow is piking back. As I'm piking an elbow back, that's going to be the direction that I look in. And then as I pike the other elbow back, that's going to be the direction that I look in. Now I'm going to press play. I'd like for you to watch so that you can see the whole thing put together. I'm going to do breath of fire through an O shape in the mouth. That means the breath is moving exclusively in through the mouth and back out through the mouth. And your camera's off so nobody can see what you look like, so you can look as crazy and you can sound as powerful as you need to in order to experience and cultivate the breakthrough that we're after. You got it? Let's do it. So, create a flat plate with a palm of each of your hands. Take a huge breath in. Looking at the tip of the nose, conquering imagined disabilities. Feel the surge of serotonin. Reset your dopamine as you do this practice. Breathing in and out of the O shape of the mouth. Oxygenate sufficiently so that you don't feel heady. A few more. Unburden the you within you. Unburden the you within you. 3, 2, and 1. Good, break the practice. We've got one more in our toolkit. Today's self-mastery toolkit. So this is foundation of infinity. You're going to weave your fingers, tuck the thumbs, and then you're going to place the tapestry of the hands. I just had to tuck it underneath my little bun. You'll place the tapestry of the hands at the brainstem in the back of the neck, and then pull the bottom side of the upper arms down as much as you can so that they're ideally getting to be parallel with the floor. Then tuck your low ribs in. Lift your spine up out of the large seashell of your pelvic bone. And like we were doing previously in our steeple oscillations, you'll do the same thing. Oscillating left on your inhale and oscillating right on your exhale. Breath will be moving in and out of the nostrils, in and out of just the nostrils, and you're going to be looking at the tip of the nose, okay? I would like to remind you to move in a way that is creating space for the regenerative force, the R force, to be moving through you in a deep and meaningful way. So, staying in it. Let it stabilize you. So we've been focusing on concentration, consolidation, amalgamation, and now stabilization. Stabilize the life force inside of the central channel of your spine. Stabilize, stabilize, stabilize. Every day, we need to stabilize more than we need electrifying jolts of adrenaline. We need that stability, especially right now. So I want to give you permission to taste the vast flavors of contentment that are coming online in your organism to be sensed. Taste the many flavors of contentment that are surging through you. Good. 5 more. 5 more full oscillations. And then bring your hands to the top of your legs. And then relaxing. Closing the eyes if you're ready to do so. And just giving yourself a couple of moments of quietude here and closure. Quietude. In your quietude, in the space of being, there is a unique quality of accomplishment. In your quietude and in your beingness, there is an accomplishment. It gets very little positive press or airtime, right? Give it a moment here. In your quietude, there is stability of mind and purity of presence and thought. And when we are in our when we are in our hearts, our thoughts drop down then into a perception that becomes expansive and all-encompassing and serene and subtle. Breathe in this moment of quietude. And breathe in again. And regarding sadhana, regarding practice, we stay at it, right? We stay at it as a life of practice. Pablo Picasso said that it took me a lifetime, he said, and it can take us a lifetime too, but we always want to be putting our foot in the door, showing up for it, no matter what. Thank you so much for sharing some time today in the company of truth, satsang. I hope you feel really energized, really alive, and definitely clear after investigating those few practices. I look forward to seeing you guys after lunch. Sat Nam and Namaste.